Well, it's a sitting week in Canberra. Time now to bring in our great political panel, Labor MP Andrew Charlton and Liberal Senator James McGrath. Great to see both of you. Now, let's start with one of the big stories of today, data showing that Australia is about to experience its biggest two-year population surge ever, an extra 650,000 migrants this financial year. James, is this a good thing we're welcoming migrants back into the country after COVID?
I think it's always good for Australia to welcome migrants. We are a country built on immigration. The question I've got is where are the migrants going to live? In Brisbane, the unit vacancy rate is less than 1%. I had a delegation of mayors from southwest Queensland meet with me today. One of the big issues in regional Queensland is the lack of housing. So if the migration does hit this level, where they're going to live and what money is being spent on infrastructure to make sure we're just not making traffic jams longer and train journeys longer.
So you think we shouldn't be having this level of migration back in until we've got the infrastructure to support it, basically?
Well, I think you need to make sure if you are going to have high levels of migration, you need to make sure that you have the infrastructure to support it. Okay. Otherwise, our cities are going to become more congested. And where people are going to live? Housing is so expensive at the moment for people already in Australia. Yeah. I think it's important that we do have migration, but that it is at an appropriate level.
All right, Andrew, what do you think about this? I mean, there are, particularly your electorate in Parramatta in New South Wales, people are struggling with the cost of living already. Do you think this is an appropriate level of migration?
People are definitely struggling with the cost of living. The important thing to remember about the current migration levels is that we had a big slump in migration during the pandemic. Many fewer people were coming to Australia. And what we're seeing now is a little bit of catch-up. We're seeing more students come back, which is good for our university sector. We're seeing more tourists come back, which is good for our tourism and travel sector. And we're also seeing fewer Australians going abroad. And so this is a bit of a catch-up from the pandemic. But the thing is, even with all of this catch-up, we still won't be back to the level of migration and population that was forecast before the pandemic. Even this catch-up won't replace all of the migrants that we lost during the pandemic.
Yeah.